Hey, you guys. I'm hoping that I haven't gone in the wrong order, meaning I was like, should I eat before or after this live? And I decided to eat before the live. And I'm going to fight the itis that's lurking. I had myself a little brunch. My daughter cooked breakfast, and I ate a little bit of leftovers from last night. What? So good. First of all, StreamYard has a little funny layout right now, and I'm just trying to get it to where I can see the chat. Okay. In case somebody drops in there. Happy New Year's, you guys. I hope everybody is well. I wanted to make this video because, of course, we're working to increase our emotional maturity on this channel, and that's never going to change. And I've dealt with enough haters, fake people, in all different areas of my life to where I could just do this with my eyes closed, baby. So we're going to go down this list. And some of this stuff that I'm going to say should be obvious. And some of it may not be obvious. All right. But either way, I hope that this helps you for anyone out there that's really confused. And I didn't even put that on the list. But if you're suspicious about it, you got to listen to that right off the rip. You know, especially if you're not operating out of your insecurities and shadow side. Like if you're more on the light side, or you feel like, you know what, I'm a pretty balanced person and I've done enough work, and just being near this person's energy, or just the aftertaste of how, you know, you feel after interacting with this person is making you feel spiritually, like physically, like, whoa, like you'll learn yourself as you go on this walk and this journey, especially those of you who are empathic and in tune with source, you know, connected. And you'll start understanding the ways that you get alerted to stuff. Like I've literally, I don't want to be too TMI, and I don't like to get too much in my business, but you know, last year I had a lot of marriage proposals. I'm Muslim, you guys, now. I said my Shahada last year, and you know what? Before I said my Shahada, I've always had a lot of love prospects. And afterwards, that stuff didn't change. I literally turned down 8 marriage proposals last year. But in every case, sometimes it was just common sense. It just something. In every case, there was something about it, obviously, that was not a go for me. But in one situation, honey, I had beyond cold feet. Like, I know this person was like pressing me about marrying them, and I literally had 6-7 hours of anxiety the evening before, and it was, what would I say? It was confirmed later on that I was correct in these feelings. Like, it's never been wrong. Any bad vibes, we call these bad vibes, and that stuff is something to listen to, especially, like I said, if you know that you're not operating out of insecurities and are primarily your shadow side. And hey, my miracle. Yeah, she said, I thought you were Muslim. I am. It's not something that I'm engulfing into this channel. You know, like, I'm not going to be like Islam this, the Quran that, per se. We can talk about psychology and emotional maturity without me like throwing, you know, my religion in there, even though for me it's a way of life, of course. But, you know, the good thing about me being a Muslim is it doesn't affect or really get in the way of me being able to talk about having common sense and increasing our emotional maturity in the way the human mind works and this and that. So, you know, doesn't really change my work here, but I was using that for an example. Man, people were just setting me off, like, energetically. So that's one thing that you're going to pay attention to, that I didn't even put that on the list because I was more so focused on tangible things, like something that you can see with your eyes. This list is more about that. But spiritually, people are going to set you off. And that's something that you have to think about. Like, why is this person triggering me? Please pay attention to it, because I'm telling you, I have yet. That trigger in me, it's never been wrong. It has never been wrong. So that speaks volumes. So let's go ahead and get into these tangible behaviors or observations that you'll be able to make towards this person that may not have occurred to you. And they're not in any particular order, just the order that it dropped into my head. And I was going to try to order them in a certain way, but you know what? I'm on my other cell phone. I'm in my memo pad, you guys, and we just going to go down the list the way it fell into my head. And the first thing I have is ruined your birthday. What? And this one skips over people's heads because a lot of times we'll make excuse for our loved ones and the people close to us, or that we would even trust to invite to spend our birthdays with. But this person may find a way to ruin your birthday. Or you'll see that the efforts that you put into making their birthday all good, they never planned for it. They never show up appropriately. So yeah, watch out for people who like to ruin your birthday. And that sounds really messed up, but it's the case. They're hating on you, of course, but this person don't like you and don't really F with you the way that you think. Another thing is someone that's never taking your side, or more than not, they're not taking your side when you have external conflicts, or if you have a view, they're always having the opposing view, like you're on the debate team or something and they're on the opposite side. Like they're always trying to find a way to go against you. Like psychologically it's seeping out any way that it can, you know, instead of them telling they don't like you, they don't like your thoughts, they don't like your point of views. Like it's always some type of contrary rebuttal, or, you know, some way that they're not going to be taking your side. And that, to me, that would just be annoying. I mean, I can't be married to a person like that. I can't make you my friend. And it doesn't mean that you have to believe everything that I believe. But usually I like to be with people who are similarly on the wavelength of me. Like, you're not going to just be opposing everything I have to say, even when it's making sense, you know? And the opposing side can also be taking the side of your enemies. Like you get into an argument or something, they're finding ways to make it your fault. So just not taking your side. The person that loves you will naturally want to take your side, even if it has to be in a compassionate way. Well, you know, you was kind of tripping, but, you know, maybe it's because they was behaving this way. Whatever the case is, this person is not taking your side, even when they should. And you could still take somebody's side and give them compassionate, tough love, by the way. But there's a difference between that and a person is just against you no matter what. Like, you have to know what that difference is in your emotional maturity. The next thing, you guys, constantly dropping the ball somehow. Like, you know, a lot of times we might just flake this off to this person being irresponsible in some way, but no, keep in mind that somebody can purposefully drop the ball. Like they could be purposefully sabotaging you. All right. And that should be unacceptable. You know, if you can't rely on somebody, how can they be your friend? How can they be, or, you know, hopefully you will be figuring these things out before you even take them to a level of a spouse or something more permanent in that way. But if someone's constantly dropping the ball with you, you're not as much as a priority to them as you think. And don't, you know, like I said, don't make excuses for their negligence. All right. The next thing I have, and this is how I phrased it, and I'll explain what I mean by it, but it might be self-explanatory to you. Bipolar pendulum of emotions. Like this person is so hot and cold with you. And we can compare this to like a narcissist cycle of abuse where they're love bombing you and by the end is devaluing and discarding you. One is hot and cold. There's no consistency or no middle ground with this person. There's going to be some extremes. And this is where you see these on again, off again relationships, and there's confirmation. You guys, my phone ain't gonna never stop doing that. It's just one of the way that spirit connects with me. But yeah, someone's hot and cold, you guys are always off and on, that's a red flag. Okay, that is a serious red flag of not only narcissistic abuse, but of course toxicity. And then when you think about the title of this video, someone that don't really F with you. The next one, you guys, doesn't offer you help when you need it, when they could have. Or they'll offer you help and then don't show up. Yeah, like if someone likes to watch you struggle, there's confirmation. When they have full capacity to help you, that person, they certainly don't love you. And I understand tough love for people who are very irresponsible and they're constantly making the same mistakes. And it's like, you know what? I'm tired of stepping in for that person. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, people who claim to love you, care for you, down for you, and you've been there for them. You're always helping them. And it's never like, reciprocity there, or they don't do the same when they could. They want to see you fall on your face. They're happy about that, or they want to see you struggle. They don't want to see you elevate. The next thing, you guys, someone that makes friends with your foes. I literally knew someone, a former friend of mine, and, we had this conversation, and it wasn't, I don't know how we even got on this topic, but this person told me I could be friends with this one and that one, and, like somebody's arch enemy. I don't have nothing to do with what they got going on. I was like, what? So it's like, what type of duality, in my mind, I'm wondering what type of duality does this person have about them? I could still be friends with them, even though they were shady to them. Why would you even want to? Right? So someone that's friends with your foes and make excuses about that. This person is probably going to be fair weathered or on the fence, Next thing, someone that makes sly remarks, slick comments, or say they were just joking, that type of thing. Because even a comedian will tell you when they tell their jokes, there's some truth behind it, So that may be a way of them getting it out some way psychologically and then joke about it. But they're, really showing you how they really feel. There's some truth about it. All right. The next one doesn't really celebrate your wins or downplays them, right? Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. Something good happens for you. They're not really showing happiness about it. Or they'll try to minimize it. And then the funny thing about it is a lot of times when I see this behavior, it's from the people who weren't at your level or above it. You'll find that a lot of people who aren't at your level or above it, they don't really want to celebrate your wins, because we hear this all the time that people want to see you do good, but not better than them. So, and that's for insecure people, because people in the light understand that everybody has their different gifts and callings in this life. If you were called to be a billionaire and I was called to be a thousandaire, that's what it was for this life, But yeah, doesn't really celebrate your wins or tries to downplay or minimize your hard work and effort and what you had to do to get somewhere, when they don't even probably know nothing about, getting there themselves. That's what I'm saying. A lot of times these are small-minded people in these situations, very insecure within themselves, lazy, or haven't even done a fraction of what you've done. And this is why it really saddens me, throughout the years, all the people I've talked to who have been crushed and disappointed and devastated by these type of people. I'm like, well, you got to look at the source. Are you looking at the source? No, because you're probably leading with your feelings versus your logic. Like, who's throwing these darts? I don't need a high school dropout coming at me for getting my PhD. Buddy, come on now. We're not the same. When it comes to education, we're not. And it doesn't mean that that person that's a high school dropout can't go into real estate and be a millionaire mogul or anything like that. But chances are they're not, because people are already up high and vibrating. A lot of times they don't even have time to be haters. It's usually the low vibrational, miserable people who are doing this. And it doesn't mean, two things could be true at one time. It doesn't mean that a wealthy person can't be a hater, because they can. It doesn't discriminate by finances, but it's less likely. What I got to hate on you for, I got mine, But there can be cases where someone shouldn't have a reason to hate, but they're still hating on people. Like, you already, you got so much good going for yourself, but you don't know how they're really perceiving themselves, the way other people can see them, because sometimes people can't see themselves the way that other people are seeing them. Because they have their insecurities and things about them that we don't see. But nonetheless, I digress. The next thing, you guys, is whatever you're entitled to in that relationship or obligated to, they hold it back. Like, let's say it's your parents and they're not nurturing you. Let's say it's your spouse. They won't even give you intimacy. Like, they'll find ways to, whatever you actually are entitled to stuff, when you have a certain connection with someone, they'll find a way to strip you of that or withhold it from you. And it might even be in the most cruelest way, you guys, because let's take it back to marriage and someone withholding sex or intimacy. They know that you're not supposed to be cheating. They know that you can only turn to them to get that. So they have control, right? Manipulative people, they love to have control over something. So if they can use that as a weapon, or, you know, weaponizing you with this and use it to try to throw darts at your emotions or put you on this emotional roller coaster, or to knock you off a balance, right? So yeah, whatever you're entitled to, are they really actually obligated to give for you? They'll try to hold that back from you because that person don't really F with you and they might actually hate you. The next thing, you're excluded from their special days and moments. Like, you weren't invited to be a maid of honor in this person's wedding. Were you even invited to the wedding? You weren't invited to the birthday celebration. Like, you think you're on a certain level with someone and they're actually excluding you from the most important and special moments or times and days. So, you know, being excluded or isolated is definitely a good sign. And this can happen in family dynamics. You know, on this channel, I do talk a lot about romantic relationships, but this can play out, of course, in friendships. It can play out with family, and this can happen at work too. You know, they could exclude you from something in work as well, because works can have cliques. Please. And this is coming from somebody who did a lot of time in corporate America. And I'm usually the only Black person too. So trust me, I understand these things. So the next one, you guys, only around when they need something from you. So obviously this is a red flag of someone that's using you. And I want to just take a moment to talk about using. People, you know, connections and relationships should be beneficial. We should be using each other, but not in a manipulative, depleting fashion. So when we use each other in a proper manner, we're both bringing something and pouring into one another. It's not like, well, I'm just taking it and you're just giving. That's when someone's getting drained and depleted. So it's nothing wrong with getting used, but there is something wrong with getting used up, if that makes sense. Like, no one should be using you up. Yeah, I'm using you, you're using me, but it's not in this shadow side negative tone, you know? It's not in an abusive manner. All right. So this person also might not take up for you when others are talking about you, like where they should be standing up for you. You know, maybe you're not there to defend yourself and this person is just silent. They didn't say nothing. You know, but they'll be the same people to run back and tell you, right, what somebody felt comfortable with saying in front of them. Why would they feel comfortable? Because they would know, like, that's your dog or whatever. Like, yo, this person ride for this person. If I go over there and lay this on them, they just going to curse me out like they was the person, because I know they're tight like that. But they felt comfortable to do it to you and you didn't say nothing, but you're bringing it back to me, right? So two-facedness, of course, obvious. Somebody lying on you, that's obvious. Don't F with you, you know, because their self-preservation, their character and integrity are just out of whack. And that's the type of person you should never want to even put in. It's too much responsibility to make them a friend. It's too much the responsibility to make them a spouse. You can't do stuff like that with them. It's too expensive, too rich for their blood, if you will. Don't play yourself by doing that. The next thing, and pay attention to this one, never going out of the way, never going above and beyond for you. Like, it's never extra anything. You know, like whatever they have to do, they might just do exactly that and not a second more. Like, this person is not going to go out of the way when they could have. So Pay attention. Don't say, oh, this person didn't have the money. Look, as a single mother, I will make $1 out of 15 cents. I will save to the moon and back for something. People find a way. People find a way. So just be careful. And along with that, we're going to watch out for breadcrumbing. These are people that are just trying to do enough to survive the relationship with you, not thrive in it, not to really nurture it and foster it, And along with that, we're going to do future faking, where people are promising you the moon and the stars at a future date so that you can give them the moon and the stars presently, and then they can run out the back door and you never get what that future promise was. And on the most simplest level, of course, we can think about men and how they will, we'll say some, many, as a matter of fact, they'll say and do anything to try to get your little honey, okay? What it means to try to get you to have sex with them. And trust me, as a pretty woman, especially any woman, really, any woman, but to women that get high volumes of men in their life, like I always have since I was a little girl, like I attract a lot of men. I done seen it all. I've seen it all. I've even to the point someone has gone to the point last year of even making the appointments to get the marriage license. And they thought I was going to give it up. Surely didn't. Girl, I was not born yesterday, boy. Oh my gosh. I don't have a lot of respect for it, but just be careful. Men will say anything. Men will say anything. You have to know that. Your big sister is letting you know. Men will say anything. They will say anything, honey. All right? To try to get what they want. All right? Now, the next thing. Now, this is really slick too, but you got to pay attention to it. Giving that thing that you want or desire or deserve to someone else in front of your face. Yeah. So this lets you know that this person is capable of it, but they are choosing not to give that to you, right? They're disloyal to you, but they're loyal to that group of people. They're not showing up for you, but they show up for that group of people. They're never on time for you, but they're always on time for that person. See, they're picking and choosing, right? You have to, a lot of times we'll just write people off. This person is immature or, whatever the case may be, but they're picking and choosing. They're picking and choosing. Understand when someone is picking and choosing. Hey, Michael, he says, hi, blessings, loving sisters. Happy New Year, honey. And that's one of my day ones. But yeah, understand when someone's picking and choosing with you because they're going to do it for who they want to do it for. But they chose not to do it for you. And that has to speak volumes. And you need to put them in the appropriate place at that point. Confirmation. So here's another one, you guys. When they have a no call, no show with you, it means nothing. Like there's no warning. I'm not going to be able to make it. They're just not coming. And then they might even try to just pick up the conversation with you as if nothing never even happened. So that speaks volumes. They didn't care enough about your time of your invite or whatever the case, whatever the circumstances is around that. Because if you do that at a job, you getting fired. Or you're going to be getting strikes and it's going to lead up to a fire. So be careful about that. How about somebody that leaves your text messages and your calls out there for hours? What? That person, you are not a priority. And this is coming from someone who knows what busy life is like. Like there were times in my life where I've had 3 full-time jobs. I'm raising 6 kids. And guess what? The people that I wanted to message back right away, I still did it. My busy lifestyle did not stop none of that. Confirmation. So, we have to take things into context. If you're dealing with a surgeon at a hospital, might be different. If you're dealing with someone, even truck drivers, they be having their earpieces in and they're driving all day. So a lot of times where there's a will, there's a way, except for certain situations. Use your common sense on that. But that's usually not the case. That's usually not the case. But if somebody is willing to, especially if you were saying something endearing to them, you ask them a question and they just leave it, you saying good morning to them, and that's not something, they can't get back to you until night. Who the hell are you? Even President Obama, when he was the president, he could get back to Michelle. He's the president of the United States. Like, these people be acting like they're secret agents. Nobody's that busy, and everybody has their phone right in their fucking hand 9 times out of 10. So if someone wants to leave you out there like that, you're not a priority. And just take note of it. Not that you're trying to force yourself to be a priority to anybody, because you're not. But it's just something to take note of, to know how this person is really feeling about you. All right. The next thing, this person might not let you on their social media. They might not want you to be Facebook friends with them. Some people do actually, only want certain people on their social media. Some people can be more private about it. So when people aren't trying to let you into that part of their lives, that's something for you to know. They don't want you to see their family posts and this and that. They're not really letting you in. And then on another hand, if they are on your social media, they're not liking none of your stuff, right? But they're, whatever you are sharing, they're conversating. Oh, you know about that? Oh, yeah, I seen you post on it, but they didn't make a reaction to it. So you just watching, you lurking, right? You watching, keeping up. These are monitoring spirits. You guys hopefully know this word by now, monitoring spirits. People that like to keep tabs on your progression or what they think is your lack of progression in life. They want to know what you got going on so they can evil eye it and pray for your downfall. In 2025, I highly advise it, especially if you are a high vibrational person. If you're on this channel and you're not a monitoring, evil eyeing spirit hater, you probably are. I would just highly recommend that you guys watch what you share with the public. Even, sometimes you want to share your blessings. You want to share your love and light. Oh, God bless me with this, or I've been promoted to this and that. You don't have anything to prove to anyone. Your social media is your social media. Yes, do with it as you please, but I am recommending to you to be more private. To be more private. Like, throughout the years, I think over the last 3 years, I done combed my Facebook from like 5,000 to down to under 700 now. But everyone on there, I have memories, in-person, real memories with these people. And even then, I don't really share a lot of stuff, So in 2025, I advocate for a very private lifestyle, because there really are a lot of evil eyers and haters, and you might be surprised to find out who they are. Michael says, yes, believe them for what they say and not say, and be not afraid to say goodbye to them. Yeah, you have to love yourself enough. You really have to love yourself enough. And you can't put human beings on the throne, because number one, there isn't one perfect human being. They'll never be perfect. And we all have flaws. We all have blind spots, and nobody knows it all. But a lot of people have character flaws too. And in this video, we're talking about these character flaws, people with lower integrity and character about them. But yeah, they won't let you on their social media, and they're not showing love to you. And we can extend that to, people who don't want to show love to you publicly. I think that may be further down the list. But if they're not outwardly showing the love, but it's always just behind closed doors, like, why are you minimizing me in the public? Why can't you be open about your support for me? Oh, your business is going to be great, this and that. You post about your business, they don't say nothing. They don't react. They're not under it. Like, show it there too, right? Because you're growing your business. That word of mouth is good. Having people go under there is good. So watch out for people who only want to approve of you or, lift you up in private, but they won't do it in public. because chances are they might be telling other people that they don't mess with you, honestly. And that's why they can't do it in public. Or they're not really happy for you, don't really want it to grow, or they don't really want you to excel. So they don't really want to do it where it really counts in that way. So, people think they're slick, but just pay attention to stuff like that. The next one is they won't let you come to their home, or they won't let you know where their home address is. This person do not F with you like that. Okay? They don't want to give you their real cell phone number or anything like this. This person don't really trust you or F with you like that. So, yeah. And then there's people who will let any and everybody come to their home too. So just use your discretion to know. But more private people, they're not letting any and everybody come to their home or know where their home address is. So that's a sign right there. Now, here's the other thing. Maybe you might share some good news with this person and they might start rolling their eyes, smacking their teeth, having like that resting bitch face thing going on, looking angry or upset or frustrated. And you might just see, they might do it for a few seconds and then they'll like trigger into seeming to be happy for you. That's why it's good to look somebody in the eyes and really take in the full communication that someone is extending to you. And obviously communication is more than just verbal. It's body language. It's, the gestures that they're making, the emotions that they're expressing, the tones of their voice, like the distance that they're having, arms crossed, arms open, leaning in, leaning away. Like it's things that you can actually learn if you study body language. And even they've got it down to a science where the way a person's eyes going to the left or the right, which could indicate more of a telling a lie or not. Like there's all types of things that you could pay attention to. But in psychology, we do know like there may be like a systematic response that they have no control over, but you have to really be watching the person to catch that response. And then make a note of it. And it's not always for you. And here's the thing about this list, you guys. I'm not telling you this list to call people out on it. I'm not telling you this list to have people explain themselves. Because, they're just going to give you more lies and deceptions at this point because they're already trying to make you live in some type of delusion or illusion in this connection anyway, right? So I'm not going to go to that source and expect accountability and honesty. But it's for you to, take inventory because we are in a new year. And I always, I had to let go of a lot of people last year. I let go of a lot of people. And even into the first couple of weeks of the year, still letting go of people. And no regrets about it. But either way, it's for you to do what you need to do to protect yourself so you're not oversharing or overextending friendship and all types of intimacy to people who don't deserve it, okay? That's why I'm making this video, so you can help yourself to figure out who deserves what or don't deserve anything. All right, so if this person is laughing at your misfortune, or basically someone that laughs at you versus with you, yeah, this isn't your friend and they don't F with you. If this person never apologizes or takes accountability, and yeah, that's narcissistic or a narcissist, but yeah, they never even feel like in a person that's ran off their ego, basically, they don't, when they're clearly wrong too. Like instead of, like some people are slick with it. They might not have a conversation with you. Maybe they might do something nice for you. They might give you a gift or try to crack a joke with you. And that's their way of, are we okay? Can we move past that? But instead of like really acknowledging it and having a real apology, yeah, that type of stuff is not taking the front seat. That's something to pay attention to. And this person is emotionally immature, ran off their ego. Like, yeah, friendship and intimacy are too expensive for them. How about somebody that supports your competitors and adversaries outwardly or privately? Yeah, are taking their sides. Like, Oof. Is that Judas energy or what? But yeah, supporting your competitors, the people that are trying to strike against you, trying to take you down. Or it could even be competitors. You have a t-shirt business and your competitors have a t-shirt business. They're promoting them. They never promoted you. Or they're buying from them. Like, come on. So you got to pay attention to it. Pay attention to it. And yes, people can spend their money any way they want. So this isn't about getting them to change their mind or getting them over to your side. It's about you seeing where their loyalty lies and how much they really F with you. This is all that's about. The next thing, they'll try to find a way to ruin your event or your moment. Now, we talked about specifically birthdays, but this could be any moment, your graduation, your baby shower, your wedding. What movie did I watch a couple years ago? And some girl she had a friend of me, and she tried to make this girl her best girl, her maid of honor. And this girl did everything, ruined her dress, like took her bridal suite. Like, what movie? I'm like, child, why are you keeping this monitoring spirit in your life? But yeah, tries to find a way to ruin your events or your special moments, or they'll, if they're not showing up, they'll show up to sabotage it, or slow it down, or anything. Next thing, they'll try to minimize you in any way or downplay you, or just flat out be unsupportive. That's another one. Someone that bails on your plans, especially at the last minute. Like, it's some people, you have to understand who you're dealing with. Like, if you're planning a girls trip or whatever, like, if you really know that person, you already know this person might bail at the last minute. Like, you should already be planning a plan B, or honestly, would I even make them a part of the plans knowing how they are? If I have to plan for you bailing at the last minute. The next thing, someone that refuses to compliment you, especially where credit is due, or they don't want to give you credit where credit is due, basically. They're really quiet about it. So this is someone that doesn't really care about your feelings. Like, if you try to have a conversation with someone about your feelings and they're very dismissive about it, or that you do all of this communicating, they don't have nothing to say. One, of course, this person could be emotionally immature. Two, they may not even know how to deal with emotions, including their own. So the conversation may be over their head. But see, they could definitely just not F with you, and might actually hate you. They might be on the inside happy that you're having these feelings. You might be confirming to them, oh, okay, I'll keep doing this. It's working. Like, you might be actually giving them a reward at that point. And that's pretty sick, but it's the case for people who are sadistic. The next thing, they may deflect their poor behaviors onto something else. And this is a part of, the not taking accountability. I've had situations where I've had a run-in with someone and they have poor behaviors, but they try to deflect it, not onto me, but some third source. Well, this person hadn't done that, then me and you wouldn't even had an argument, or me and you wouldn't even had that experience. So be careful about crafty deflections when it was all of them, but they want to cleverly find a way to make it a third party's issue. And that could be a cognitive dissonance if you really think about it, especially if you don't want to think of that person in that way. Then you might actually psychologically want to take that truth as the truth when it's not, but you might want to take it, and then you participated in some cognitive dissonance, like I said. Oh, this is a good one right here, you guys. When you do something to them, it's a problem, and all hell breaks loose. When other people do it to them, is nothing. But you did something accidentally, even on purpose. Suddenly, you don't cross the boundary, and it's all hell. Have you ever seen a situation like that? Like, the whole family told them no, but if you do it, you're the black sheep, you're this, you ain't nothing, you da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's all hell breaking loose. All hell breaking loose. Like, I've seen situations like that. They let that group of people run all over them, and you have any boundaries and you stand up for what, is going to work around your energy, it's a problem. So, that person will F with you. Or, what, this person, they let this group do this. You do something, it's a problem. And all hell breaks loose. Like, that's a big one right there. And the last thing I have you guys on the list is this person has awkward silence when congratulation is due, or maybe a weird gaze, or just non-reactive. Like, it's just a very socially awkward response to something that should be an obvious positive thing that anyone want to hear. So, yeah. I mean, who knows what they're really thinking in their head when that time comes. Probably upset. But, yeah. But the whole thing, you guys, is if somebody doesn't want to F with you, that's fine. You know, that's fine. Because the problem has been on this type of channel that I see is people longing for someone to F with them that don't F with them. Like, if somebody don't want to F with you, that's fine. Why would you want to try to force that? Why would you want to try to force it? That's when you end up in all of these shady situations. And that's when you end up getting betrayal after betrayal, one worse than the other. Like, why would you even want to set yourself up for that? You know, a lot of times there may be some rejection issues. You have a problem with rejection because rejection isn't all bad. You know, on this channel, I try to teach that we can't take words and just put them in a box and make it one-dimensional. We all know that, or you should know, rejection is redirection. A rejection is a blessing. I can't think of how many stories I've heard of. People are seeing red flags. People are rejecting them. People don't want to let go of situations, don't want to let go of toxic people. They keep going back for more and they end up unalived. They end up abused and battered. They end up taking all types of L's and losses. They didn't have to. It's okay. It's okay. You know, and a lot of times people have a hard time sitting with themselves and in their own energy as well. That could be a problem too. But you're talking to an introvert, someone that has to, at this point in my life, I'm so happy, like in solitude, honestly. I don't need a lot. You know, I have literally one friend and that is all. I don't need to make more friends. Less is more to me. I'm not hungry or desperate for anybody's approval, affection, acceptance, none of that. You know, for me, it's staying aligned with my God. For me, is living a purposeful life. And then the way I feel is the doors that are open for me is a blessing. The doors that are closed for me, it's a blessing because you don't know what you're being spared from. You don't know what continuing the path with that energy and that source, how that could have devastated your life or put you in a situation that could really, really harm you or cause you a lot of suffering and pains and setbacks. Like, we need to stop all that. And a lot of times it starts with forcing the issue. And ultimately, that's a video like this is trying to help you to stop forcing issues. It's okay if that person don't see your value. It's okay if that person don't want to be your friend. It's okay if that person doesn't think you're worthy. The problem is when you keep interacting with them and subjecting yourself to the abuse or the constant rejections and the darts that they're going to be throwing at you. Like, out of self-love and self-preservation, why even subject yourself to that? It's okay. And honestly, when you have a gift in life and God separates you from the pack, you're going to have to learn how to sit with yourself at times. Or it could be a lot of seasons where you're not surrounded around a lot of people. But that's for your protection because he knows how flawed people are. He knows how much of a distraction relationships are. And maybe he has a goal for you to reach, something that he has, set out for you to complete. And he knows putting you around too many people, mixing in with your energy, especially if you're empathic, it starts to drain and pull on you. I know I don't like to be around a lot of energies, which is why a lot of times I'll be like, do I want to go there? There's going to be so many people there. It subjects me to so many different types of energies. And I feel like I had to recover from that. I gotta go back. I need to retreat. I need to rest. I've been around a lot of energies. And, I know everybody's not like that, but I'm just speaking from my experience. But I have so many hobbies and interests that I do by myself. I don't even need another person to do these things for me. And I'm not a hermit, but there's nothing wrong with enjoying your own company. It puts you in a power position when it comes to interacting with people, because I want the company, but I don't need it. So when it's not this need in a certain way, I can more than gladly let it go. I'm not going to be psyching myself out and trying to figure out reasons why I should try to continue this toxic path. I'm like, oh no. And then when you're already loving on yourself appropriately, is no way in hell I'm going to let this person treat me in a contrary way. I don't treat myself that way. I'm not going to allow other people I give myself self-love. And that's solid with me. I'm not going to let you come and bring me down. I'm not going to let you treat me in a way I wouldn't even treat myself. And I don't even expect people to love me the way that I love myself, of course. But what you're not going to do is come and disrespect me and play in my face. I mean, once I figure out you're doing that, it's a wrap. And now I'm not looking back. I'm not missing it. I don't want it. I'm good to go. And that comes with maturity, emotional maturity and wisdom, because you already know where that path is going to lead to. And it's not anything fruitful. It's not anything fruitful, you guys. And that goes the same thing with someone hating you. Do you know, like, the type of devastation that someone that hates you can cause over your life, especially when you keep allowing them to have that intimate relationship with you? They're getting access to information. They know about your whereabouts. These people can cause a lot of harm to you. It's okay to let go. And that's another issue that may come with people that are fortunate issues, not comfortable with letting go. Learning the lesson of letting go. And that may also be attached to understanding endings or beginnings. Like, that's another word. That word ending, like, it bothers people so much. This is going to end. Sometimes, it needs to end. Endings aren't all bad, but they're inevitable, because nothing, is definitely tangible, lasts forever. Maybe our spirits and our souls, maybe that's the one thing. But even that, it comes out of the body that we're using right now at some point. So just understanding the bigger picture of things and doing the work within ourselves, because a lot of times, of course, it could be stemming from things that we haven't healed from in the past. So we're seeking the validation, from similar energies that mimic or mock or remind us of the energies from the past that were not there for us. So if you had a selfish mother, a man might be dating a bunch of selfish women. You might not understand it, but you may be subconsciously trying to rectify that relationship that you never rectified with your mother. So all these women are in that similar energy, and you're like, why can't I get out of it? Well, once you do enough work, even if you attract that energy again, you won't sit with it. You won't stay with it. You won't bond with it. You won't trauma bond to it. You won't, you know what I mean? It's something that's going to repulse you about it. Been there, done that, ended the chapter, moved right along. And it doesn't mean that you have to go back to your actual mother and make that relationship healthy. No, it means that you've done the psychological work within yourself that might look like self-parenting, or I think they call it reparenting yourself. Okay, my mom didn't nurture me, but I nurture me. You see what I'm saying? So there's ways we could get our closure without going back to the abuser, or, without trying to do it through various future relationships of people who are in that similar energy. So that's the other thing, you guys. If you feel like you keep attracting that same type of energy, do enough work to yourself that when you recognize it, you can get away from it. You can let go of that. Because it doesn't, once you do the work, it doesn't mean, like, I attract narcissists all the time. Because they're just always going to love empathic people no matter what. You know, having emotional maturity doesn't mean I'm not going to attract a narcissist. But what it does mean is once I realize it, I'm getting out of Dodge. They're not going to get that far with me. They can't just love bomb me. You know, they can't, the relationships go on my pace. So I ask enough questions and I pay attention. And I understand that people can lie when I ask the questions. So I'm not taking everything at face value. I want receipts. I ask for receipts. If anything, they'll come and they'll run away from me soon enough because they don't know who I am. But, you know, I hope that this video helps someone, you guys. And if anybody wants to add into the comment section of ways that they could tell that somebody wasn't really effing with them and that that person actually hated them. And of course, there's obvious things like the person told you, I hate you. Like, you know, stuff that they'll say when the mask drops and they have nothing to lose at this point because they've already rectified in their mind. This person already knows who I am. I have nothing to lose. I could just be my little low character integrity self. You know, and that's why the guys that pretend like they're all nice ask for your number. And when you say, no, F you, B, right? F you, B. That's who the real person is right there. And be glad that you've seen it. People get so hurt. It hurt my feelings. Okay, well, I understand that, but be glad that you found out. I'm on some Facebook groups and I read the threads. People put anonymous questions up. Sometimes I'll hop under and leave a comment for the person. But someone was in the early dating stages with someone and the guy ghosted her after one good date. And she was devastated because I guess they had been talking for a while and leading up to that first meet. And she felt like it went good. And she was like, I keep wondering what I did wrong. Like, we have to stop internalizing other people's misdeeds or other people's poor, you know, characters. Like how somebody treats you, that's a reflection of them. That is absolutely a reflection of them. It's not for you to internalize it. It let me know that she probably been in some situations where people were projecting onto her, making her the fall guy. Always, you know, when you're always used to being constantly blamed for something, whether you're at fault or not, psychologically, when you haven't done the work to, you know, have that self-awareness of where that's coming from and then rectify that within yourself, then you might, you know, automatically start being like that with people. You internalize it. What's wrong with me? Why can't anyone treat me nice? Why this person abandoned me? Why this person reject me? Honey child, I'm reading that. I'm like, girl, I'm happy for her. I know it's hurting her right now, but I'm literally happy for her. At least he showed his card right now. You know, at least you're finding out early because honestly, time is the one thing you can't get back. Time is the one thing. Can you imagine putting years into a situation that's just all it did was drain you and end it anyway? Caused you financial setbacks, all types of stuff. Like, honey, I'm glad that he did that after the first date. I know it hurts you right now, but he could have been married and just trying to have his little fun. And I don't know if you gave it up to him, but if that's the case, then he was a hit and run. He just wanted that, you know, or he just wanted his ego stroked because, like I said, he's married, or he just chose somebody else. Either way, the way he mishandled you, that's all you need to know early on and be thankful to see it. Some people, like I said, it could take them months and even years, and that's even more devastating. So we have to, there's confirmation. If we're out here in the dating world, we got to get thicker skin in a certain way. If we're going to subject ourselves, you have to know these outcomes can happen. You can't get so comfortable. Oh, we're having a great conversation. Ha, kiki, you know, okay. And now we're going to have our first date. This person was overly invested in that in a certain way. And I understand, most women, they want their husband. They're like, maybe this is the one. Like, communication is good. And, communication is important for all relationships at the foundation, right? But he didn't have the integrity. And you couldn't build trust off of that. You never know when this guy's going to flake on you or, have a double life, triple life. Who knows, honey child? He could be sparing you from something. So we have to look at people's rejection. We have to look at their betrayals, although it's hurtful, but this is a drop of a mask. Anytime you're able to get that mask to drop, and now you can actually make a decision about this connection based off of reality, it's a blessing. Even if it hurts your human feelings, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. As long as you're willing to live in a reality. Okay. So again, you guys, happy New Year, of course. I'm so happy to drop in here on the channel. If you want to leave a comment here about any of your situations or questions, I'm more than happy, as I say on any live chat, to answer you guys' question. This channel is a way for me to pay it forward. And I'm a psychology junkie. And honey, I have been through so much pain and suffering that I've just learned a lot. And I'm not laughing about it. Don't think I'm laughing about it. But I've grown a lot through it. And now, at 43, I feel really strong in so many ways, so many life lessons. And, this channel is just a way for me to share what I've learned. The hard way, more than not. The very, very hard way. But I won't have to learn it again for sure. And I'm hoping you guys won't have to learn things in the hard way as well. All right. You guys have a prosperous and a blessed new year. Never give up on yourself. Always think about your self-preservation. Live your life authentically, which means be sincere. If you want to do something, do it. If you don't, work that no muscle up and say no. Don't overextend yourself. Tend to your self-care. Walk in self-love. Walk in self-awareness. If there is something, shadow work or just things about yourself, because none of us are perfect, that you want to continue to improve on, start making a plan to do that. I advise you guys to be more private, particularly with your wins and your losses. How beautiful is it when you get to recover in private? Try to take that route as much as you can. Because the last thing you want to do is expose yourself to a lot of energies. And then the people that are evil eyeing you, when you're going through a down period, they don't need to be putting prayers against that, because they're already praying for it anyway, right? And when you're going through an up period, you don't want them to try to sabotage that. So, life is not complicated. It's not always easy, but it's definitely, to me, is not necessarily complicated. But I say it's not easy because it's not a straight line, right? Life has its ups and downs, but with the emotional maturity and spiritual maturity too, we could throw that in there. You'll understand dark and light energy and how that works. And anytime you feel like you're going through any spiritual attack, then you know that you will turn into it spiritually that much harder instead of falling off and away from it. Okay? Because those spiritual attacks are coming to break you down, to weaken you spiritually, to get you to just dwell only on your shadow side, And there's a difference between your shadow side and your dark side, although your shadow side is in your dark side. And I don't want to make that sound complicated. But in life, we have dualities. We have a balance. We all have a light and a dark side, and it's not all negative. Like I was saying, this is the example I use all the time. When a detective goes to a scene, a crime scene, he's tapping into his dark side as well, but he's using it for good. He understands the dark nature of human nature. He's able to jump into, he's able to see other perspectives. If I were a criminal, or how would a criminal think about this? And it's helping him solve that case. So I'm not trying to disregard anybody's dark side at all. So I'll say the shadow side is the negative side of the dark side. Because sometimes we have to tap into what people consider is the dark side. It's true. It's true. Sometimes we have to be a warrior. Sometimes we have to be a little aggressive. It's not all sunshine and lollipops and smiling and laughing all the time. Sometimes you have to be stern, Sometimes you have to be steps ahead of a sociopath or a psychopath or a stalker or a hater. Like, you're dealing with these type of people. You can't just go in with light, per se. They're just going to eat that up and take it as a joke. So, having a good balance in life and learning how to make friends with your dark side and not act like it doesn't exist. Yeah, Michael says recovery takes time. It does. It does. But as long as you're seeing progression, though, and it's one of the things, recovery is a lot of why I started this channel, and the name of it, Reflection and Progression, because I was like, well, maybe if I could help people reflect on these things, because a lot of times they're just looking for closure. They're trying to connect the dots. They're trying to make sense of things. We can reflect on it to be able to progress from it. Because the progression to me is working through the grieving process. And at the very end of it is release. And that means the situation is not striking you, is not affecting you in a negative way. It's not to your detriment, because that's what you want to get out of. If you think of your worst experiences and traumas, getting out of the energy to where it's to your detriment. You cannot function. You can't make space for new energy. It's just renting space in your mind. It's taking up too much space. It's going to take up some type of space because we're never going to forget it, chances are. But the story that you start to tell yourself as you work through that trauma is going to actually become healthier as you do the work. You might start out in a victim mentality, and then at the end, you look back on it, man, look at all of the beautiful lessons I got out of this. It was like a hard knock life type of experience, but it made me who I am today. And that's why when you see people who make it to the other side, they're like, I wouldn't change anything I've been through. Even the times where they was going through their quote unquote, like dark night of the soul type of thing, I wouldn't change any of it, because it has all gotten me to where I am today. It was all a part of my process. It was all a part of the experience that I actually needed to evolve my soul. Right? So perspective means a lot, you guys. And when you're thinking about people not effing with you and people that hate you, you got to keep the right perspective, or else that will be your downfall. I don't need you chasing after nobody that's not checking for you. Don't chase for nothing. The things that are free flowing to you, the things that are meant for you, they're going to come and stay. But most things in life are temporary as it is. But if it's supposed to stay for that season, then enjoy it for that season. But we're going to stop going against the current. We're going to stop forcing the issues. And we're going to accept the open door as a blessing, or we're going to accept a closed door as a blessing. You just don't know. Like, we can think about this on the most abstract way. I'm trying to get somewhere on time, and I just keep getting hit with all this traffic. Come to find out, something crazy happened at that location. If I would have went on time, I would have been in the midst of it. So even being caught in that traffic was a blessing for me. Like, I think this way. So I'm not going to say I never get annoyed with traffic, but when I understand stuff like that, you guys, it makes me a lot more humble, because I feel like, God knows what he's doing at all times. God knows what he's doing. If he's closing that out for me for some reason, it was meant. If he opens that up for me for some reason, it was meant. So even when you're facing a hardship, it could be your test. Do it with a smile on your face. Still make the best of it, you guys. It can be a test because, there's dark energy out there that want to strike you down. They're always looking. But if you are always in the energy of what's for me, what's for me, and what's not is not. If it's my time for this, if it's my time for that, I'm going to do it to my best ability. I'm not going to, because things weren't going my way. Now it's F God and he don't love me. Where he at? He's not real. This is your test. This is your test. And if you're smart enough, you're going to know it doesn't rain forever, number one. And number two, if it is raining, you best believe it's something, that rainbow is about to come out. Like something beautiful is going to come at the end of that. Stay in tune during that process. Because when people aren't effing with you and stuff, there's a lot of loneliness, or you might feel isolated. Maybe you needed that for some reason. Maybe you needed a reset. But it will all be revealed to you in time. It will all be revealed to you in time, especially if you're asking for the revelation. Ask for it. Communicate. God, he's always there to hear. It's a fact. All right, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and end this live chat. If you guys have any videos that you would like for me to do, you can always leave it down on the bottom. Hit the bell, you guys, so that you'll be notified. If you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe if you like my content. There's plenty of it here. Let it help you on your journey. I love you guys. Please stay well. This year has been off to a number 9 year. This is a 9 year energetically. 2025 equals 9, and it's Mars. Mars is fire. Mars can be aggression and fighting, but on the plus side, it could be a surge of energy as well. So just be safe out here. Be careful. And try to use this number 9 years, Mars energy, on the light side. Just try. Some things are just fated to be what it's going to be, you guys. But when you know these things already, I was like, dag, that energy ain't wasting no time. Look at all that fire in California. Whoa. And people don't be wanting to care about astrology and stuff. Astrology is a science, and it could let you know a lot of stuff. I tell you that much, even about abuse in your life. All right, you guys, I love you, and please take care, and I will see you guys. Michael says, amen. Yes, amen, or as I would say, amen. I will see you guys in the next live chat. I love you guys. Please take care.